I'm pretty sure we're up, so yeah.
We're live.
Yeah, we're officially live, it would seem, so let's start by talking about the OCE finals,
sure we're
which
up,
I believe
Let's just a minute, 1 second. We're live. Tweet it out, give it a few seconds.
Okay, sweet.
What was it? Tweet it.
Talon V, yeah.
Okay. I think we should be good to start now, Damo. If you're still here.
We've got some person from Lamille's stream apparently, so that's good news.
Can I watch it or let's stuff it up?
It'll be alright.
Okay. So,
Okay.
do you want to introduce yourself first, and then we'll go from there?
Yep, okay, I'm Talon, yeah, I don't know who I am. I just got an opinion on everything and decided to share it. This is the first time I've ever tried anything like this, so I guess, yeah, I'm just trying my best. And my partner is...
I'm Buzz. I played League of Legends once. It was fun. So now we're talking about it. We've got our first tonight, which is the OPL Finals, which start on August 8th, only a couple days away, live from Luna Park in Sydney. The first LAN event away from PAX, which is something that we haven't really had before.
Yeah, I reckon it's really weird that it's at Luna Park, like...
Yeah, I mean, I think away from PAX and games, like Riot has no presence at Gamescom, which is going on at the moment. They're not having a presence at PAX, at any PAX. So, it's just a decision. I think they want full control over what they can and can't do, which makes sense, but it also, I guess, limits how many people can watch the event live. Because a lot of people would be going to Melbourne for PAX anyway.
Yeah,
So-
are they also making it so you use the parking the day, so they've booked out the park for the day, and everyone with a ticket can go into the park, yeah? Or is it an open park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't need it. You don't need a ticket. You don't need a ticket.
Oh, okay.
But you can, if you only need it to view the match under the top, which is their like auditorium, I would imagine. So
Okay.
going into game, we have Legacy and Chiefs.
I'll start off with the Chiefs. The Chiefs have Swiper in the top lane, Spooks in jungle, Swiffer in the mid lane, Ray Deer as AD carry, and E-Jim in support. And I probably believe that'd be the favourite, but you can take us through Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy, we have Minky in the top lane, Minky Whale, Carbon in the jungle, Choo Choos, I believe, in mid lane, Tallywhacker as ADC, and Claire as support, replacing Flying Dew. With Flying Dew's 6-game competitive ban, he unfortunately not able to compete with Legacy. And I think it just tipped the game right over into Chiefs' favour. I feel like it's in Chiefs' ballpark at the moment. And it's on them to make the mistake to lose, I suppose.
Oh,
But I believe in them. I think best team in OS. And yeah, it's hard to say, like, after 2 splits of being the best team in OCE, that it's going to be really hard. I think it'd probably be a 3-1.
If
but-
Legacy are no chance of winning a game ever, unless they've got some absolute cheese that just can't see it coming. Like, they're just...
I mean, not to take away, like, we're not going to take away from Claire. Claire is one of the best solo queue players on OCE, and also a very adaptable player. So, could be some synergy there that wouldn't be in if you brought in anyone else.
Yeah,
it's
at
like,
least
yeah,
he'll
yeah.
still be part of the synergy, but they haven't really been as good as Chiefs for the whole year, and I don't really see why it would change now.
Yeah, I agree. I
But-
think Chiefs are
But
favourite.
last time they went to go to Worlds, Minky Whale split push basically cost Chiefs the overseas, and Legacy well and truly earned going over. But that wasn't a good system either.
Yeah. Well, last packs, Legacy, they brought Tallywacker in a couple weeks before, and they had that one big ribbon at the end. So I mean, can he transition that we saw from top lane at the same position to AD carry in this same setting? We'll have to see. I feel like Chiefs do have to watch out. It's not going to be a free win, and they know that. Legacy has the power to up them, so
Also, the Chiefs' game 3 was quite shaky against Avant-Garde.
I think Avant-Garde really stepped up. I feel like if you just look at the first two Chiefs games, and
Yeah, it was a
how
rough start.
when they were ahead, yeah, they had full dragon control. They're just the most methodical team in O's, and like we said earlier, it's just hard to see them. So that's about it for OPL. The winner goes on to international wildcards, and we'll talk a bit more next week when that actually occurs. But until then, we can only speculate. So we'll move on to NALCS now, and we have the standings currently. Being that Liquid came first, winning themselves the bye in the tiebreaker against CLG. So CLG is second with the bye. The winner of Godi v TSM, who are 4th and 5th, respectively, will play Team Liquid. And Team Impulse will be against Dignitas to have the chance to play against Counterlogic Gaming. So
I've actually got a question first. If you were from 3rd to 6th, would you prefer to play Liquid or CLG?
Going into it, I would much prefer to go against CLG.
Is that because they're
I
past,
feel like-
or is there something else?
I don't know. It's just the carry top. I don't know how many games can just be solo carried. Like a lot of their lanes have been a lot better recently than they have been in previous splits coming up to now. Like when they go into playoffs, they've always had that shakiness. I feel like the roster, the stigma's still there. So I feel like you'd prefer to go against CLG.
Yeah, I agree, but it could all change. Like,
Yeah, well, we don't know. We're not scrimming them, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Liquid. You look at Liquid and you say like, well, Quas has a champion pool as deep as the ocean. Phoenix has the same. Piglet you can't really ban out. Like, at least when you play against CLG, you can, I guess, target ban out a player. Like Zion, you could ban 3 top lane champions and put him on something uncomfortable and hopefully exploit him there. Whereas it's not as obvious when it comes to Team Liquid.
yeah, I don't think Team Liquid have a huge weakness. If there was going to be a weakness, I'd almost think maybe Bjergsen could get hold of Phoenix, but Phoenix isn't bad by any means, but I just feel Bjergsen's that much ahead of everyone that maybe he could get on top of Phoenix and maybe they could lose, but yeah, I think they look fairly strong.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. They're also coming off a week off, which is also what I don't like about the schedule. Having a week off for coming first or second can often be detrimental to your team.
Yeah, it hasn't been detrimental
So-
very often, though, in terms of, in the history, I think the top 2 usually go straight through to the grand final, no worries, but there's always been exceptions, like Unicorns of Love's awesome run. Didn't Coast have an awesome run in the first ever LCS?
Good Game University. Yeah, they went from 6th to 2nd.
Yeah, and lost to TSM. So it is possible, but you'd probably expect a Liquid CLG final just on... That's not what I expect, but just on history.
Disagree.
Just on history, I think that's what you'd expect.
Well, let's just move past that for a second. We'll go into the individual matchups. Because that's what we have to talk about first. We need to see how these teams look like. So, Gravity versus SM. Who do you feel comes out top in this matchup?
I'm not really sure. Everything I look at says Gravity should win. Like, they've got the much better bot lane, although I do like Lost Boy. Keen won't beat Bjerg in lane consistently, but he does what he does well. Move's got on-scrant Santorin, and Haunts is no good, but I think Bjerg will just solo carry, and TSM will face CLG for a spot in the final.
I feel like TSM is the best of 5 team in North America. We haven't seen the best 5 for a while, and MSI was the last big international tournament. We all know how that went. I feel like TSM have a lot to prove, though. They finished 4th, or where they finished, like where they were finishing first, like aiming to finish first the whole year. Like that was the most important thing for them until up to a few weeks ago. Was coming first this split, guaranteeing the points. So they're going in as underdogs, I guess you could say, because no one rates them at the moment. But I feel like them just has enough experience to get them through the best of 5s. Gravity I don't see them having
Have
5 cheeses.
Gravity won many best of 5s since they got into the LCS?
No. They've been pretty shocking. I believe their last outing, when they had Saint and Cop, they spiraled out in the first round.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain you're right. And then before that was when they got in. So they're a new team. I personally am really excited about Altec. He's one of the few ADs in NA that I think is truly breathtaking. So Bunny can play make around him, and I reckon they can probably steamroll over the top. So
I think it'll be probably a close series. It'll either go to 4 games or 5. It just really matters on the cheese. I don't think, because Gravity, we all know Gravity just can't play standard very well. So, and that's what their weakness is. And in a best 5, you've got to be able to result to that standard to like guarantee a game in the best of 5.
Yeah, it would definitely
I just don't think Gravity's going to get there.
It'd be interesting, because Bunny's really developed this split. I've been impressed.
Yeah, I agree. I think support is one of the most talent-filled roles at the moment. You can't really complain against most supports in the top 7. They all deserve to be there, and they all carry their teams. So
yeah, I've actually think that the best positioning in A is support. I can't really think of excluding a certain one that we won't mention, I can't really think of one that it lags behind the rest, but it's good. Anyways, let's move on to Impulse and Dig. What's your initial thoughts?
I think that $1,400 is not enough to throw away in a LCS playoff position and a spot into Worlds. But Xiao Xiao's ban is very impactful. I think we didn't see it much in LCS because the best of 1 format really favours Rush. Because Rush displays kill the other jungler. So Gate's weakness isn't really shown because he can just safe farm. Because he's always protected by Rush, who's attacking in their jungle. So
But if he plays a top-focused game around Impact, maybe he can just go in the jungle all day.
Yeah. That's. But it's also the fact we've got to talk about Dignitas. Like, where are they at the moment? They were a top 4 team halfway through the season. They've fallen off. It just seems that everyone has figured out how Gamsu plays. He was considered by all top laners in the LCS the most underrated, but now his Jarvan and stuff that were his key things are being picked up by other top laners, and his identity isn't really there anymore. And I think Impact's just gonna steamroll him. Impact's a seasoned veteran world champion, so if he has the backpack, then I feel like TIP can all just perform in their lanes well. Adrian's a very based AD carry, very selfless AD carry.
Apollo or Adrian? Apollo, yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Apollo.
that's alright. I was just making sure, because
Adrian's statistical numbers, like you've mentioned, you showed me before, he's just like an insane with wards and his ward destruction and his position on the map.
Yeah, do you think that even though Gate's in instead of Xiaowei Zhao, do you think that hurts him less against such a weak laner as Shifter, or statistically weak laner?
Well, Shifter is he can step up, and I feel like he'll need to in the best of 5. Shifter is one of those players you can never really count out. I feel like he's just like that one game on Ahri away from just tilting an enemy team. Like if he plays Ahri in the first game and forces the other TIP to ban it, if they weren't planning ban Ahri in any game, it can throw you off. And like someone like Kiwi Kid's Annie, which I don't know how much you rate Kiwi Kid. Well, I do, but we're not going to talk about it. But his Annie is superb, and he can really impact games with that. So we just have to see how the pick and ban goes for IP and Dignitas, because Dignitas have a lot of those picks that really put some power into their team. Like they pick Annie and they have confidence, So
yeah, I also feel that with Gate, I feel if you get on top of Impulse, they're more likely to collapse because they wouldn't have the same belief in Gate as Xiaowei Zhao, even if it's not his problem they're losing or his fault. So
yeah,
I still think Impulse will take the series quite comfortably, probably in 4 games. But overall, I think it's probably a lot more close than people giving Dig credit for. Like Core JJ,
I don't think you can count out. But I don't know. I don't agree with the King decision. I think the Broken Shard should have stayed and focused on the NA team. But that's not our decision to make. And we'll see how Rico, I believe it is, performs as a coach. And the coaches have a massive role in these best of 5s.
Just an idle thought. Do you know how Broken Shard went to Dig EU? If Dig EU get into the European LCS, can they keep the name Dignitas, or do they need a new owner?
Yes, but Dignitas has to sell the other spot.
Then it just seems bizarre taking the coach your main team to an EU team for a team that if they succeed, you've got to sell. The discussion is they would keep the European team because Odie already lives in the UK. So it would be much more convenient for him to travel to Germany in order to manage the team. So the speculation is that they will beat, that they would just sell it as if like the Evil Geniuses spot years ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is years now. So
yeah,
any organization can any organization can buy in at this point. I think you're most likely looking at some of the Dota teams, Complexity, just those smaller NA orgs. Enemy might pick up. Well, enemies are safe at the moment, but TDK might pick up the roster and put their full roster back into the LCS. We don't know at this stage, but it is an interesting thing with Dignitas EU, considering that they can auto relegate into CS at their current position.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on to EU.
European LCS.
Yeah, well, the obvious thing to talk about here is Fnatic 18-0, never been done before.
Yeah, it is crazy. I believe that if Cloud9 peak state had played in this LCS format, they could also have done 18-0 in Season 3, but as LCS format has changed, it's hard to say.
I must admit,
But
the
they have
changing
been-
format does make it much easier, 18-0. I'd much prefer the two games, home and away sort of thing, so 36 games, not 18, but I guess that's for another day.
Or even just like a best two. I feel like the league system, the LCS system, is something that is drastically to be improved on. And Riot know that, and the LCK and LPL are really leading in the best of two format, and it's showing in their competitive dominance in international tournaments, and it will show again at Worlds. But we talk about the EU matchup. We have Unicorns of Love and Rocat in our first match. They're going to... H2K versus Giants on Sunday at 1 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. And so H2K finished third. They had a very good season, and that they did seem to falter off towards the end.
Yeah, they definitely folded off towards the end, but surely they've got enough to beat the Giants.
Yeah, well, just behind, like, the experience is there for H2K. Like, you have Ryu, and if you have Lane's arguably the most dominant role in the meta right now, and if you have someone who is, considered second to Fake at his prime in that role, just a lot to trust in Ryu.
Yeah,
and
I really like.
he'll just carry in a best of 5.
I really like. Excuse me if I say this wrong. Oda Omne. I'm a big fan of...
Oda Omne, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I think he's probably the best top outside of Huni. I think there's Soaz as well, but I think I'd take Oda. He's very versatile. He's shown he can play all champions in all conditions, and I really think he could be a huge problem for Giants, especially as... excuse these European names, they're broken, but Willab, the old Jax main, where last split all they could do is hope he plays Jax, and that's the only way they'd win.
Yeah, well, I think H2K just has more of a shot calling edge in the whole game perspective. Kasing is someone who came into the roster and completely flipped it. Their win ratio with Kasing is something like 18-6 since they picked him up. That's not accurate. Like, that's not confirmed numbers, but that's close enough. He's extremely good, and if you've seen the mic acts, he's extremely vocal. I feel like Kasing is really a player who can turn this best of 5 into a stomp as well. Europe just seems like there's more dominant teams than NA. It's a lot.
It's a fairly defined top 3 in my opinion. Like you've literally got Fnatic who are by themselves. Origin, H2K are close-ish. Origin's a bit better mechanically, not as good at rotations. H2K couldn't out-mechanic Origin, but I think they're a bit better at rotations. I think I said that twice, but...
Yeah.
And I think Kasing's entirely behind
3 games. Yeah. I think it's going to be a 4-game series. Pepinero is someone to talk about from Giants. he really excelled in the Ezreal meta, the mid Ezreal meta, and it'd be exciting to see how he transitions now into this new AP meta that he basically exclusively played Ezreal. Smite Ezreal in the last full patches.
Has
So-
he? I didn't know that.
It's just
He's always been a shining light for Giants. You'd expect him to hold clean, and for them to get a good result here, he's the one that's going to get on top of Ryu.
yeah. It's just a question if he can. But Ryu is also known to.
Yeah, he is known to tilt. Ask Faker about that.
Yeah.
But even if Pepinero gets on top of Ryu, Hijan and Kasing and Odomomne should be well and truly ahead of their lanes.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, unlike you, I would be surprised if Giants got a game. But they well deserved playoffs, but I'm not sure that they were the team best prepared to take on H2K.
Yeah, that is definitely something to consider. Anyway, we'll move on now to Unicorns of Love and Rokat. Now, Rokat looks like a completely different team with Mr. Rales as ADC. He's kind of had the Sting effect, as it's been called now in European LCS, where you bring someone in and the team has more success.
I honestly think Woolite is a better AD carry, but they've definitely had more success and they play better around Mr. Rales.
So yeah, I just feel like his style of AD carry is much more suited. He feels a lot more like a reckless player, and that's what Rokat needed with Nuke Duck and Steve.
Yeah, how do you think Nuke Duck versus Power of Evil will go? I feel Power of Evil is better, but I think Nuke Duck could just blow the series apart and then it's all over.
Yeah, it just matters what he picked. He is one of those champions. He loves the fizz, right? He loves those niche champions that can get under a mid laner's skin.
And they make him play Lulu at times. I know he wins on it, but it's not really a very good mid laner at the moment, in my opinion. But Nuke Duck seems to think it is. Or
Yeah,
someone
well,
Rocker.
Lulu is always going to be good in a protect comp. And if that's the comp you have to play to win games, then that's the comp you have to play to win games. So, but Unicorns of Love have had some roster troubles. They're bringing in Horo from ex-Millennium, ex-Korean LCK player.
Probably shouldn't have left his home at SKT, considering Bengi's form at times, but...
Well, he's back in Europe and he's back to make a stand, I suppose. He has to prove himself here because although he was the best player on Millennium.
Was he? The Millennium had Rue, mate. It was when they faltered.
Oh no, Meet Your
they had
Makers, sorry.
Rue
Meet
and
Your
Horo.
Makers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, it was Meet Your Makers, yep.
Yeah.
Sorry. With Mr. Rales being a close second. It's just going to be interesting. He got flown in, obviously left Europe, and tried to go back into the LCK. So we'll see how his performance is. It's always going to be a weakness if you're bringing in a player 2 weeks before playoffs. You're always going to be at a disadvantage if you do that.
2 weeks. It's the week before playoffs. Horo's coming in. Like he hasn't played a game.
Yeah, well, he got announced about a week and a half ago. So yeah, about 2 weeks. It's just crazy. I'd feel like if Unicorns of Blood had Kiss, I would be much more inclined to pick Unicorns of Love because their roster was just that, I don't know, team atmosphere that you really desire in LCS teams.
Gilius is hardly a good player, though.
I just don't see them going the distance in the best of 5.
Yeah, Gilius is hardly a good player, though. I don't think it should hurt him that much.
Yeah, but you've changed jungler twice in a month.
Yeah, but does the fact that the first change while not smooth, happened, does that make it easier for them to do this change? Because obviously, Helios Sang's the shot caller, yeah? Or am I dreaming?
Yeah.
At least I'm assuming he is, like, I guess jungle's got such a huge role on map movement. I think you'd be better off switching out a top laner than a jungler, but I guess they've just got to deal with.
I feel like Gilius was in a really awkward position. He got dropped from Unicorns of Love after he played with SK at Worlds, and they called him back like for the last week or weeks of LCS. So he got put into a spot where basically Unicorns of Love were just trying to hold their position. So I'm wondering how they're going to transition from shot caller to shot caller, where Horror is going to fit in, and if Vizicsacsi and Power of Evil can get going and be vocal enough to power the team.
Whereas I'm hoping to see vintage Jankos, with Jankos really invading and trying to stomp him. I think that's the way Roccat should go. Because especially with a team that hasn't been playing long, I feel, as I said with Gate, you can really have trust issues if you just haven't been playing together a long time. So if Jankos and obviously Nuke Dark would have to push up and may even pick 3 pushing up lanes, get really strong and just let Jankos go in there, I feel they could really collapse around a new player.
Yeah, agreed. We'll just have to see if Jankos can play his traditional what he got into LCS with when Roccat was like born team. If he can play like that, I feel like Roccat have no problems and it would only go to 3 or 4 games.
I'd be.
Roccat looks really good. I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there. Rock looks really good.
Yeah, I like Roccat, so.
But regardless, I feel like it's the death group between Unicorns of Love and Roccat. Like, what chance do you really have against Fnatic in a best of 5?
Well, you've got a chance.
Well, yeah, but Fnatic just look unbeatable. Huni can play like so many aggressive planners in a best of 5 and not be scared of losing, because it doesn't matter if you lose 1 game. So, it's just too much carry potential from Fnatic in the best of 5, and I guarantee they'll be at Worlds this year.
Yeah, well, I think they've pretty much secured Worlds with their points wise, because of how many people got knocked out and the way the points are gone. I think even if they come 4th, I reckon they'll have enough points to automatically qualify for Worlds. So I think we'll be seeing them at Worlds. The team we haven't talked about is Origin. They're a very interesting team. They're not on show this weekend, but they're still very relevant as the winner of H2K and Giants. So we think Giants will go on to play.
Didn't we say we think H2K?
Yeah.
So I think H2K will go on to face Origin.
Yeah.
In that case, Origin have the experience, right? Like, I don't see Origin losing either. XPK and Soaz have been in so many international tournaments, and their skill is, I feel like they've improved from old Fnatic.
So you reckon the side that had all the split wins, you think Origin's better than them, but the new Fnatic's just way ahead?
Yeah, Fnatic is way ahead. I feel like even if Fnatic didn't change their roster, they would still be ahead.
Okay, yeah.
So,
I know what you mean now, yeah.
It seems obvious that Origin are the second team in Europe, but it's hard to say. I mean, H2K has given them a run for their money before. It's definitely the match that has most variance, because H2K and Origin would be an extremely interesting series, and I would believe it would go to 5 games.
I'm hoping it go for 5. 5 games is where legends are born. You can really...
Yeah.
But in 5 games, does Miffy... I know he's told us he doesn't choke, and I know it's quite a controversial issue, but does Miffy's sometimes underperforming come back in Game 5 of a semi-final?
Well, has Miffy ever been in a team that's been this confident for?
No, I
Like-
don't reckon he's ever been in a team this confident, although they were pretty good, the old Lemon Dogs.
Yes, they were good, but they were all players that... I just don't know how to explain old Lemon Dogs. You've seen how all of them have gone now. So Dexter's back in Europe playing on Element, Tabs is in Europe. It was just, there was no infrastructure to help Lemon Dogs prosper, whereas in Origin there is. And Miffy doesn't have to be the main shot caller anymore. He can stand beside Soaz and Xpeke, and they're just more a cohesive unit. I think Miffy speaks Spanish as well.
Okay, I
So-
know that. I don't know, I'm very circumspect about Origin, because I just don't think their mid to late game is really up to scratch. I think they really rely on Soaz, Xpeke, obviously Niels and Miffy. They all rely on them all winning their lanes. They all want to dominate it, and then it doesn't matter which choice they make, because they are cohesive. They will all go
Yeah.
do the same thing, but I'm not sure it's always the right thing. So I think if H2K can fix any perspective semi-final, if H2K had a good laning phase, I feel every game that they come out even would be H2K's.
Yeah, well, we also have to really talk about... We haven't talked much about the coaches in Europe. Paroli is someone who has a very good grasp on League of Legends, and he's really matured H2K. If he can keep maturing them into a team that can dominate the Giants, I believe that Origin are in for a run for their money. Because Origin has traditionally been, like Soaz was called the uncoachable player. That's not my opinion, it was just as a quote.
Oh, I think it's a foreign quote.
So, it's just, it matters how much, in the best of 5, it's a 6-person game. It really is. The coach has so much input and can see so much that the players can't see during matches, that it really comes up with the coaching staff between Origin and H2K, if that match is to occur.
Yeah, it'd definitely be. It would probably be my most exciting match if it happened that's possible in the finals. Like, NA, I don't think have such a difference of styles that are lined up to face each other, and just
I mean, if
they're just north and
SMCLG
south.
is the final, then that'd be pretty hype, you can't lie.
TSM CLG.
That would be pretty hype.
Yeah, it would be quite hype, but that's from a history point of view, not just a pure gameplay.
Yeah,
Purist in me.
But it's hard because a lot of the playstyles are the same at the moment, except for impulses and gravities. So it just matters. I think that you can't undersell coaching staff at all.
Yeah, well,
It really does matter up preparation, and if you have 8 people preparing on a match on a best of 5 versus 6 people from another team preparing, then you have 2 more heads. That could just be 2 more strategies, 2 more looks at OPGG and seeing that Haunter has been playing this top laner, like Urgot top or something, you know? It's all an information game when it comes to a best 5. Whereas a best of 1 is much more a lack of information game. You go in hoping that your strats aren't leaked.
yeah, but I'm just not sure. Like, I think the players still have more input than a coach, like long term.
Yeah.
Like, no, like even a best of 5, I'm not sure. It's like some coaches will come in, say this is how it is, and fix it up. But other coaches, it could be the players driving this at times. So, although you say like their preparations and all that, like Yeah, I still feel, especially in the West, it's much more a player-based game. So although coach's importance is there and it is rising, I think a lot of like Fnatic, all their in-game adjustments, because they do adjust, they see what they're doing wrong, and then Yellow Star obviously adjusts the team. And I know Daylor seems pretty good, but is it Yellow Star or is it Daylor? Like, it's really hard with coaching nowadays because players still have such a big say.
Yeah. But it's obvious that like we go to Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike, they have their coach for the whole 30 rounds of the map. And that is massive for those teams. So do you think that we're going to see that transition coming in, where we have they do have the constant communication from the coach?
No, I don't. I like that the players have to implement what the coach says, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You mean the coach is like an in-house shot caller, yeah?
Yeah.
Nah.
So they don't have a screen, but they walk around behind the players like they do in picks and bans.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just something to consider.
Yeah, I don't think it
But
is.
it's like a coach. The only reason I like coach so much is because if there's an argument between players about what happened in a match, which there shouldn't be in a best of 5, but it does happen, things get heated, the coach can actually come in with a definite answer and say, this is what happened, this argument has to stop, and it calms the team. It prevents tilt. But I think you're right in the sense of Fnatic, where Yellow Star is like the elimination quote of the team. He's the one who brings in the picks and bans. He's the one who has a massive say, and that's where Europe and North America are kind of different at this point, because Europe's more player based, like you prefer.
Yeah.
And North America is more coach based, and we won't really see how that happen, like how that plays out until we see the World's teams.
Yeah, but then TSM must be in huge strife because the Loco Doco situation,
Yeah,
which we don't have enough time to cover. But
yes, it is a situation. I feel like the power struggle is less apparent now, but is still an issue, and that's all that we can really talk about, because it's not our opinion to have at this moment, because we don't have full information.
Of course I can have an opinion on it. That's what I'm here for. I think the only options are either, basically, if you believe in Loco Doco, tell the players shut the fuck up and listen to him, or you don't believe in Loco Doco, in which case, say, go find a new team that believes in you. Like, that's almost the only
move him
options.
to an analyst position.
But even then,
and
like,
you pulled in a
he
head
couldn't
coach.
have a direct role with the players, in my opinion. Like just saying footy, because footy's what I know. If the coach gets sacked, you can't just make him an assistant, because we're still not going to listen to him.
Yeah.
Even though it's not directly coming from him, it just undermines the whole system.
I feel like Loco Doco's position at TSM is pretty concrete at the moment, though. Maybe that's where I'm wrong. But
I hope
there's
it's
a lot
not
of faith
concrete.
from.
I really do.
There's a lot of faith from Reginald.
But he's never gonna come back as the. He's never gonna have the full trust of the players again. So what can he really do?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like Bjergsen is the only person who has lost trust in Loco.
You feel it's only Bjergsen?
Yes, I feel like Bjergsen has an ego that he has to as well. I'm not saying that Loco Doco is the big coach for TSM. I'm just saying that there is an ego that Bjergsen has developed, at least from what I've seen. and that there just needs to be more, like, there needs to be defined, Reggie needs to go out and say, this is the defined role of TSM, this is the chain of command, and if you have a problem with it, then issues will be raised.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, let's end our first attempt at a podcast at there. Thanks anyone who watched at any stage. I enjoyed talking about shit for an hour and a bit, so...
Yeah, it was nice to talk and get out opinions.
Here we go, we've got someone in chat, that's good.
Got a couple people, yeah.
No, they've said something useful. He said Loco Doco created the ego with the way he treats Bjergsen. That's probably referring to the show.
Yeah, that's a fair point to make. I feel like the ego... I feel like there might be an underlying issue between Loco and Bjergsen. And that it's also relevant to mention that the only person who had been talking in team discussions was Bjergsen, so his ego can seem magnified. I think it's more of a whole TSM issue with Loco Doco, because it seems like the 4 players are scared of Loco Doco and don't want to say anything in risk of their spot being taken, and then there's Bjergsen.
I think part of the thing is Reginald's a very controlling personality and needs to surround himself with little people, little yes men. If you get too many yes men, you're just going to slowly slide backwards, because they say yes too often and don't tell you when you make mistakes. But
yeah.
Anyways, that'll be it for tonight. Thanks guys, thanks anyone who watched, thanks Buzz.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Hopefully we can do this again more uniformed at another time.
Yeah, and we'll have to get you a camera.
Yes, I'll get there.
Okay, see ya.